to all those that are out there, if anybody would like to come in, just hit the chat button, okay? And we will keep an eye on the chat button. Ellen Delaney said there was an incorrect Zoom link and one of the two agendas. The link on the agenda is now the correct one and so forth. So we're right there. And we will get started. Everybody that's out there, welcome to the March 2nd, 2021 Conservation Commission meeting via Zoom. The meeting is starting at 6:30. On our agenda tonight, the first thing is a request for a certificate of compliance for EPA number 84402, 1238 Bedford Street. That has been asked to have a request for continuation. Nancy's there. Nancy, do you have when our next meeting might be? I'll assume it's either the 16th or the 23rd.
Chairman, Kevin Tachi. I spoke with Nancy yesterday and we were talking about the 30th if possible.
30th, that's fine. Well, as of right now, we're going to make it the 30th of March then for the rest of this. If there's any change, we'll notify the people. So as of for right now, to make life easier, just consider our next meeting March 30th.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I will ask for somebody to make a motion for a continuance of 84402, 1238 Bedford Street, please. Russ?
Motion for continuance of 1238 Bedford Street to our next meeting.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Aye, that's unanimous. Okay, the next thing on the agenda has been withdrawn because it was not needed for a certificate of compliance, as there was no notice of intent needed, as there were no wetlands violations, no wetlands, so forth. So there was no notice of intent, no order of conditions, so there's not a certificate of compliance. So that was taken off the agenda. Next, a continuation for notice of intent from Nick Patel. There's an email that should be in your packet from Paul Mirabito asking for a request of continuation. We'll make that request for the 30th. Could I have somebody make a motion on that, please?
A motion for continuance of 1410 Bedford Street till our next meeting.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye. Okay, that's unanimous. Now, we're going to go on to, this is a continued hearing, 84538, notice of intent filed by Geraldine Glazer for construction of a road and storm drain system for residential subdivision involving bordering vegetated wetlands, replication for a limited access project off Doris Drive. In your packet, first of all, is there anybody on here that's going to be doing a presentation for, or is Geraldine Glazer on the Zoom? Is there anybody doing a presentation for?
Mike, there was a gentleman, and the engineer was on earlier, and he wrote in the chat.
Is that a Zoom?
Yeah, so he's the engineer on this. So,
all right. Well, if he's coming back, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to update everybody as much as I know about this project. Nobody that's on the board right now was on the board at the time of this. You have a letter from PMP Associates in your packet. The paraphrase in it, everything All the items listed in January 8th, 2021 compliance review letter and the comments shown on the accompanying PDFs of the plans have been addressed by the latest set of plans revised through January 29th, 2021. At this point, the plan should be submitted to the Abington Conservation for a notice of intent filing. In other words, when there's a special condition number 44. So the planning board has pretty much approved these plans upon us issuing a notice of intent or an order of conditions, I should say. What has happened, you'll also in your packet see that there is a order of conditions from the town of Whitman. This land in Abington is going to be, the replication is going to be done in Whitman. This is the 12-page order of conditions from the town of Whitman. And it was issued on June 16th of 20, June 20th. And there has been nobody did any appeals that I know of. It's been signed. It's 12 pages long. So this is in the order of condition exists from the town of Whitman, and the date of issuance was June 16, 2020. That means that any work that's done in the town of Abington, the replication will be done in the town of Whitman. Sam, I'm gonna have to ask you, because I've never seen this before in my life. Who so sees over this replication work? If we issue a order of conditions, who is, I've never seen anything like this that is done in two towns before.
Can I
Hold
just,
on.
let me just interject. I've been in contact with the DEP. They do not have to even go near those wetlands at all. That doesn't, it can be totally, the road that they want to use can be re-looped by going down. Let's see.
Isabel,
Yeah, it was Wilbur. They can
Wilbur.
go down, they can go down Wilbur. They can take a road towards, make the road go towards the west and cut through one of the lots and go up Madison. So they can do a loop like that, and they don't even have to have anything to do with the wetlands. And from my understanding, if there's a way to get around it without involving the wetlands, it has to be done. So.
Right. The plans were submitted to the planning board. The plans have been accepted by the planning board. We are just going to go through this as a conservation issue. We can't change the plans, Karen. The plans are what have been submitted. We don't have to approve it, but the plans are what are submitted in front of us. And they've been working on this since 2000, I think, in 4 or 2008. There's already an existing order of conditions on this, which is in your packet. That goes back, which we'll be getting to that in a minute. All I was trying to do was update everybody on what has happened up to this point and up to this date, as far as the order of conditions from Whitman and the PMP showing that the subdivision has a third compliance review for Rose Place, and it was PMP has seen it, and Patrick Carrara has issued this letter from PMP. So we calling DEP and so forth, that's one thing, but we can't change the plans.
They can,
Who can?
the engineer. If they do it as they're doing it now, they're gonna have to they're going to have to get a 404 what is it? It's the Army Corps of Engineers and a 401 water quality with the DEP. They can avoid getting that if they just re-loop their road.
Oh, when Azul comes back, he left at 6:23. He said he's going to try to rejoin the meeting in a couple of minutes. He'll have to explain it, but we as this board cannot change the plans. You do realize that, right?
We can, yeah, but we can
It's
also not approve.
It's not
them
up
and
to
they
us
can-
to change the plans.
No, we're
no,
not gonna,
but-
no, but we can suggest to them that they can avoid
Yes.
anything to do with the wetlands and avoid some other things by just changing their plans.
Right, and why the engineers haven't dealt with this already, I don't know, so I can't answer any questions from Azul.
And they also have not gotten back in contact and refiled with the DEP. So the DEP doesn't even know that this is where they did some, what did they do? This Ken Thompson did a new wetlands delineation. They don't even have a copy of this yet.
And that was part of it. They had to keep the DP up to date.
Say that again, Joanne, they had a what?
They had to keep the DP up to date with anything that was going on. It was to be sent to the commission, and it was also supposed to be sent to the DP.
DEP has provided a number for this. The number is 340-0451.
Yeah,
So the DEP is knowledgeable about the replication and so forth of this project. And
and they're not happy about it.
what?
They're not happy about it. Did you get the
Oh,
email from DP?
Yeah, I forwarded an email to Nancy, who forwarded it to you guys a little while ago.
What was that? Karen, you forwarded it?
I forwarded an email to Nancy last week and I said, can you make sure everybody gets a copy of this? It is,
I don't believe I got a copy of that, but it might be on my email.
yeah, it's dated
It's pretty important.
9/3/19. It's a notification of Wetlands Protection Act file number.
Karen,
Hi, honey.
what's going on? How are you?
I'm in a meeting. Let's see, the plan for this project should not, let's see. It says, in summary, the project should not be approved as proposed because there is an alternative that would have zero impacts on the wetlands by looping the two roads to the north. So there is something that they can do and the DEP is not going to, they're not gonna go forward with it.
Now, I got a quick question, which I'm sure Azu can speak to once he does get on. So this is a refile of the previously filed NOI. So a new NOI number will have to be issued. Now we haven't got that, Mike. I don't believe from the Abington.
I have Karen's email in front of me right here. Karen's email was sent to A Sergeant Engineering. And Karen, can you send that email to Sam and Russ?
I got it. I pulled
Okay.
it up. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it went out on February 24th.
Yeah, no, I have it right here. I see it in front of me now, Nancy. Thank you. Well, we can't do much at this point until Azul comes back to try to answer some questions. This is for the board members. Karen, that's good work as far as I'm concerned, because this has been confusing and been going on since.
20 years. Almost.
Yep.
17 years.
And I mean, there's the original file number is 84392, and then they have another one provided for the town of Whitman. I'm assuming that's the wrong number. I'm assuming it's supposed to be 340451. But you have that copy, maybe not, maybe it is 3400451. But that was in our packet. Everybody has that, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, good. And what they're trying to do, which they want the original order of conditions
Phone bill down.
reinstated. From what I can tell. And all right, you know what? We're gonna put this on a pause here and go on to some other things because I'm just trying to fill everybody in on what I know about this, and I don't want to make any statements that are wrong. Because this has got things dated 2018. There was a order of conditions filed and received by the Plymouth County Registry of Deeds on 2008 from ET Engineering, but let's hold off on this for right now and continue on what we can continue with.
If everybody can just look at this notification of Wetlands Protection Act file number that was submitted, Commonwealth of Massachusetts Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs. And this is dated 9/30/19. And this is what DEP sent me back in August. So this is what they have on file. And when I talked to them recently, they haven't gotten any new filings whatsoever. They don't have copies of plans. They don't have copies of the thing that the PM or the engineer sent us. They don't have those copies, nothing. And everything's got to be sent to them through a PDF because of the COVID.
Okay, and that's the project assigned the file number 0840538. Am I correct, Karen?
I'm looking for
Yes.
that now.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
oh yeah, yeah, 0840538.
All right, you know what? Until we can have a representative talk to us, we're gonna put this on hold for right now, and we're gonna deal with what we can deal with here. What's on our agenda. Because all we're doing is wasting time. And if the zoo doesn't come back, we'll just have to ask for a continuance. But I'd like to have at least talk to Karen, you know, to tell them that what you've told us, you know, so. All right, let's go on to building permits and site visits. Russ, anything up there?
No, there hasn't been actually.
Okay, and the only thing that you took care of was 21 Randolph.
121 Randolph.
Okay, good. There is correspondence in your packet from Janet Cummings that Beaver Book, I'm sure you've read it. Has everybody got that? So I don't have to read the whole thing about how they want to
Yep.
redo the playground down there, and everybody's familiar with the playground down there, correct?
Yep.
Okay. It's going to go on the same footprint. They're going to be taking down a few more trees. My opinion, I'm going to open it up to the board here, is all they'll need to do is file an RDA. Does everybody agree with that, or do you think there's a notice of intent? Or can they just go on a
No, an
building?
RDA would be fine.
Yeah, if they can, or I was wondering if a building permit would suffice if we just put some orders through the building inspector that hay bales and would be put up as it's going to be on the same footprint.
Yeah.
Any input from anybody would be appreciated.
I think an RDA should suffice. I would assume where it's a new playground, they're probably, I would assume they're hiring some sort of designer to at least lay it out, correct?
Well, this is what I'm getting from an email and from the thing that they would like to know. So when they're putting it out for bid because of the size of the project, So when they put it out to bid, they would have that in the bid package that they would have to come through us for whatever we recommend.
Yeah, I think that should, I think they definitely should come before us,
Yes.
especially with how close it is to, the pond.
Okay, RDA or notice of intent?
I mean, it kind of depends on what the extent of the project is, right? That's what an RDA is for, right? For us
Well,
to
yeah, exactly,
determine.
but it's a remove and replace. I mean, I have no problem with a, whoever gets the bid, I have no problem with them coming through with a notice of intent. Because if you read the whole thing here, that it's a part of something else in the town and so forth. So if we just make sure that the contractor is doing what they should be doing, because there will be site work and there will be removal of trees, and of course, you know, it's right on the pond.
Are they
So-
coming back? They're moving it, they're gonna stay pretty much on the same footprint, but they're moving it away from the pond more.
The
Yeah,
fence, yeah.
But they'll still be within 100 feet, so.
Okay.
So
I think I mean, it's easy for people to say that, it's not going to be within the limits and there's only going to be a couple trees. I think just a plan to kind of show everything so we can get a visualization would be good.
Right, what I'll do is I'll ask Nancy to respond, or I'll respond tomorrow, Nancy, however you want to handle it. I'll get in touch with you tomorrow.
Okay,
And have Janet just in her packet when she's taken the bids and so forth, that they will have to come through with a notice of intent. Is that okay with the board? With the set of plans?
Mike, just one thing, I'm also on the board of Veterans Trustees.
Yeah.
And we've agreed that it's okay.
Yeah, and I'm on preservation and they're part of that too.
Okay, but we just have to do something for the wetlands, so I think an easy notice of intent would be the best way to do it. It's
Okay.
just so we have a set of plans. So
Okay.
that we'll handle that tomorrow.
So they'll do the NOI, then we'll do an order of conditions, and then everything will be covered.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be fine.
Yeah.
Agreeable with everybody on the board?
Yep.
Yeah, that
Yep.
works.
Has everybody had a chance to read the minutes?
Mhm.
Okay, if I could have a,
Motion to accept the minutes from January 28th, 2021 as read.
second, please.
Second,
Favor?
All right.
Aye,
Aye.
aye.
unanimous.
I'd like to actually bring something up at some stage, if that's
yeah,
okay.
Go ahead, Joanne.
About the dog park. I actually went down to the dog park on the weekend and I saw a lot of people using it, which is fine. But I also saw that the replication was not made and there's a berm there that should not be there. And I think we need to follow up with whoever we need to follow up with to see when that is going to be finalized. Because to my knowledge, they really shouldn't even be using it until it's all finished, right?
That goes back to when Jerry was here, and Jerry supposedly spoke, I think it was with, the guy that did it was from Rockland, Delpret, and that was supposed to have been handled a year ago or better.
I heard they ran out of
It's-
money.
Delpret, the contractor?
It wasn't Del Pret. It's Del something or other that's over by Damien's in Hanson. They have a subsidiary of they're not the Del Preets that we knew that used to do the trash. It's a relative of theirs.
No, yeah, it's one of the Delprets, yeah.
Right. And I heard that they ran out of money and that's why it's not finished. And there's also, because I've been down there and there's a big hole on the other side of that berm that's like a pond, and that's going to be stagnant water collecting things.
Yeah.
Okay, what I'll do is I'll be back in 2 weeks, and we'll follow up on that, see if we can do anything. Unless you had Russ, unless you had a chance to find anything out. If not, it's been going along for this long. So what I'll do is I'll just make a note when I get back to get the information from Nancy and see if I can find out, because in reality, if it doesn't get done, we are supposed to, as a board, close that down, and that won't be very nicely accepted. But if it hasn't been done, then we might have to.
And they have the 2 seasons, right? They have the spring season into the beginning of the fall to be able to do the replication.
It's supposed to be done, and then it's supposed to come back within 2 seasons is what it is. It's supposed to be done right after the project.
Yeah, it's a mess
The
down there.
silt socks
Hard
are
top.
still there, you know? It's
Hard Top is gonna
crazy.
be shutting it down. Say again, Joanne? I'm sorry?
The silt socks are still there. You know, they probably did the right thing to start with, but I mean, there's straw, there's stuff all over the place. It's not good.
Okay. Nancy, if you can hear me, when I get back, we'll pull that file and I'll see if I can find out who was supposed to do what, and I'll look into the whole thing and see what, because it's somebody from the town, whoever was in charge of the dog park. I don't know whether it's the highway department. I don't think so, but somebody had to head this up.
Who headed it up?
Yeah.
There were two of the Abington selectmen were the perpetrators of that thing.
I'll find out who we need to contact, Mike.
All right, Nancy, and then thank you. When I get back, we'll handle it, and Russ and I can go out because we have time on our hands. I'm just gonna look.
I got something else.
Go ahead.
I don't know if this is the time to do it, but I don't know if it's been discussed ever. But I saw that the town meeting is coming up in April, right?
May 24th.
May 24th, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything that should be discussed or brought up from the conservation bylaws or anything like that updating or anything on that end that you guys can think of that needs to be brought up? I think that would be the time to do it, right?
Yeah, the warrant is open until I think April 10th. So we would have until then to get in an article if you wanted to do anything.
Okay.
That's good thinking, actually.
I don't know. I've never, this is the first time I've encountered this because I wasn't on it last year when this happened, but it's something to talk about, at least if anyone had any ideas or suggestions, or leave it as is, and if it's fine.
I don't know what we would change. We can go through the bylaws. If you want to go through and make any suggestions, we would, like Nancy said, we would have to have it in by a certain date. But I can't think of anything that I would change at this point.
The only thing that I really that's caught my eye is potentially adding a no build buffer. I think something that something along either 25 or even greater, a no build buffer around wetland resource areas.
Yeah, that's, as a matter of fact, I think there's something, we just do it as a kind of a normal event, that we only let people build 25 feet and beyond, like for a pool and so forth. And for some reason, I think there's something in our bylaws that actually states, and if we let people work any farther in, that's in the order of conditions. But I think there's a 20, I don't have the bylaws in front of me, Sam, but we can look into that. I think there is a 25-foot buffer, but I'm not positive.
No, there's nothing in the bylaws. It's just something that usually the board states,
Okay, yeah,
but there's
I think-
nothing official.
I just think kind of officializing that and making it clear in the bylaws could be beneficial. I don't know about how everyone else feels, but
if we put that in the bylaws though, and somebody has, for some reason, had to work within the 25-foot buffer, we could put that in the order of conditions, right, Sam? You have no
it
problem?
would be a variance process. I believe that that would have to change the bylaws. So they would be going for a variance that if they were, and I'm not saying a no work, I was saying a no build. So no structures, no none of that. And I was just tossing the idea out, just things along those lines that other towns around us do have. So it could be something if people have time over the next 2 or 3 weeks to look at and potentially maybe have it on the agenda next hearing.
I'll send
Yeah,
out a
that-
copy of the present bylaw that we do have to you guys.
Thanks, Nancy.
Thanks, Nancy, that's perfect. And if not, then if nothing gets done this time around, it's something we can look into all together and actually easier if we had all the paperwork in front of us.
Yeah,
But that-
definitely.
And again, Sam, when Nancy sends out the bylaw, if there's anything that maybe we have to restructure, that's not a problem at all.
Yeah, I think it. I mean, the way I've read it, it doesn't seem like it's been updated a whole lot, and so I think it could be worth looking at least.
Yeah, we have done some things in the past, like the fines and so forth. We have addressed that. There wasn't in there and things of that nature. But as far as the any updating that I can remember in the last few years that I've been here, we've done nothing with the bylaws. So I'm gonna, because we can't answer the questions for this Rose Place, and there's no sense in holding everybody up because we've done everything else for this meeting. I'm just gonna ask one of the members to request a continuance for this, and what we'll do is I'll talk to Azu and tell him what has been brought up, and actually, Karen, I might have them get in touch with you so that they can talk to you about what you have brought forth from the DEP.
Sure, I
And-
mean, I'll send them the DEP's paperwork again too, because it says all revised information submitted to the Abington Conservation Commission should be submitted to Mass DEP. So, and the DEP told me they haven't gotten anything at all, not
All right.
since last summer, so.
What to make this easier and to save time for everybody, either myself and Nancy will get in touch with the zoo, tell them to actually get in touch with you directly, and that way you can forward them what you have, and that would be the simple way to do it.
Okay, I can just, give them the simple version of it and tell them what the DEP has suggested they could do, and they can take it from there.
That's a good idea. Sure. So if nothing else, I think we can get a motion to adjourn. Does anybody else have anything else?
Our
We
next
should-
meeting, I'm sorry, I just found out from Liz that we can actually go in person if you would rather than Zoom for the next meeting.
Everybody okay with that? I would like that.
Yep.
'Cause I'm all tanned up and I want everybody to see it.
We're gonna be jealous.
We can see that, Mike.
Okay. We will, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
No, we have to continue the
Rose Place subdivision.
Rose Place,
Yeah,
correct?
yes, I need a motion to continue first. Sam?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to continue the hearing of the NOI filed by Geraldine Glazer for the Rose Place subdivision.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that's unanimous. And Nancy, if he either contacts me or you, just tell him to get in touch with Karen Bowen and she will give him all the information that we were going to discuss with him, but he left the meeting. If that's okay, Nancy?
Uh-huh.
Perfect, perfect. All right, then I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to
I'll make
adjourn.
that motion. Oh,
Okay.
I'll second then.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Uh,
Night. Thank you, everybody.
Night.
Good job.
Good night.
All righty.